Welcome back to Mind Pump TV. I'm your host, Danny Matrenga, and today I want to show you some upper body stability work that will help you with your bench press, your overhead press, your rows, your deadlifts, all that stuff. We talk a lot about, building strength and getting strong, but one of the biggest factors and baseline requirements in order to do that is joint stability. An unstable joint will never be able to produce nearly as much strength as a stable joint. And the upper body joints we talk the most about are, of course, the shoulder, elbow, and wrist. And for the most part, they're pretty mobile. So being able to stabilize those, especially the shoulder, is huge when it comes to having a super powerful bench press or overhead press. And I want to show you a couple moves and a couple variations that really do a great job of not just teaching the right patterns for stability, but also strengthening some of the often neglected stabilizing muscles. So let's get into it. The first movement I want to show you guys is a bottoms up kettlebell press from the half kneeling position. The reason I like to do it from the half kneeling position is I find that I'm able to also get a little bit of trunk and core stability work, which is also quite nice. So what I do from here is I just kind of bicep curl myself into this position where I'm stacked wrist over elbow. And from here, my goal is to slowly press the kettlebell up into full extension. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. You can push out and upward with some external rotation there. That's kind of tough. That would be the hardest. You can push straight up and overhead, right? Or you can even push with a little bit of protraction, which will work that serratus or serratus muscle. So something I want you guys to consider when you do this is it has some shoulder stability involved, but the majority of the stability is actually from the wrist and elbow. So when you do stuff like you bench or you do stuff like overhead press, there's a lot of stability required of those joints specifically. So doing movements like this is gonna have a lot of carryover to making you a better presser specifically, as well as giving you the opportunity to, if you do that protracted version, train the rarely trained serratus. And also when you just train these straight up and down positions, you get quite a bit out of the rotator cuff. So it's got a great amount of carryover, and you should experiment with all three of those variations and see which one you like best. But I would recommend starting with a really light kettlebell. This is 26 pounds. So I might even have started a little too heavy even for just a demo video. And it's always better to play it safe when you do stuff like this, because you're putting that joint in a relatively compromised position if you have some instability. So you guys might be wondering why hold the kettlebell upside down versus like the traditional rack position press for increased stability or to drive that stable adaptation, right? And the big thing is when you put the kettlebell in this position, it's harder to stabilize because you have the general large amount of the weight of the bell further away from the stabilizing joints. When it's right here, not only is it closer to the stabilizing joint, you also have an additional point of contact. So just from a physics standpoint, it's gonna be harder here. And if we can make the exercise more difficult and still drive that stability adaptation, we don't need to use as much weight. So this is a little 10-pound bell, and this is probably just fine for most people looking to start this exercise. And remember, like I said, all you gotta really key in on is you wanna stack right here and stay as vertical as you can. And you don't want to allow that angle to leave that 90-degree position. When you're doing that, you're working on your stability again for mostly wrist, elbow, and you're getting some shoulder in there too. The second exercise I want to show you guys today is a plank or extended plank shoulder tap. Now I'm going to show you the regressed version, and then I'm going to show you the progressed version on this foam roller. So basically what you want to do is set up in a push-up position or an extended plank. Tuck the tailbone, make sure that the scapula aren't protracted fully, you're in a nice neutral position. And from here, simply alternate left to right. We're asking the shoulder that's in extension here to stabilize the weight of the torso. And it simulates some of the stability requirements of things like a bench press, an overhead press, or even some of the more compound lifts. But if you want to level that one up, because that might be a little easy, you can do it on a foam roller. You can do it with one hand on a med ball, but simply going right here, doing the same thing. you're getting a little bit more of a unique challenge. I don't think it's necessarily that much better. It's just another tool you can have in your arsenal to level that one up a little bit. Another thing you can do is even do the same thing with like a mini band or like an elastic band, and simply just go out side to side with the band wrapped around each arm. Again, just challenging the shoulder to stabilize a little bit better. And like I said earlier, the more stable the joints involved in a movement are, the more powerful the potential those movements have to become. Thanks for watching, guys. Tried something a little new with that, and I hope you guys found some value and enjoyed it. If you want to see more stuff like that, comment below, give us some ideas. We comb through that all the time, making sure that we can better serve our audience. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and again, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.